The rebuild, boys, wasn't epic. It was necessary. And that mindset, in hindsight, I feel like is, a necessary one to adopt, or at least use temporarily during a shift of rebuilding, right? Because I feel like a lot of us, as young men, we want to be flashy, we want to show off, we want to be this, do that, because it makes us look good. But does that make you feel good in the long term, or are you just chasing shallow, superficial validation? Yeah, bit of a deep one, that. And if we haven't met yet, my name's Thorpe. And if we haven't met yet, my name's Thorpe. And as a young man in his 20s, I have struggled navigating my life day by day because I felt lost, numb, and directionless. But from slowly getting out of my own way, I am no longer fully attached to the tight-haired, curly-haired little ball of insecurity that I was at the start of my 20s. I've left him behind. I am now 24 and on a mission to help 10 million men who feel like they are drifting through their defining decade by becoming the architects of their own lives. But yeah, for sure, like necessary wise of a rebuild is, or the necessary things that is attached to not just doing things because you want to show people how good you are, how cool you are, but like the necessary fact of if you aren't going to do certain things, then you aren't going to get these certain results that make you feel good or make you feel like you're going to progress in life and grow, which truly matters, right? What truly matters is what you do for you, which then along the road can help and will help other people on the way, because your teachings, we're so self-absorbed that we want to just tell people about our story and tell people how we did things. So the aim here is not to tell stories in a way to make us look good, feel good, but to tell stories that are necessary in keeping ourselves sane, feeling good about ourselves, and just all round being a fucking boss in our own right? Whatever that is for you. And for me, it's showing up for myself, trying to at least attain a solid level of greatness in my own ability with the tools that I have right now, and then progress myself along the way to just, again, to discover myself, what am I capable of truly in my life, and then also to see the beauty within that, right? So having a body, having a capable mind allows me to really indulge in the richness of what this universe, of what this life has to offer. And why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you find that in your own manner? Because what is necessary is to find and not have a life where you are looking back on it as your 85-year-old self and be like, fuck, I have so many regrets. Why did I do that? Why didn't I do that? Or the fact of that you just can't bring yourself to think about those things, that you're just so regretful and so built up with tension, resentment, and fucking just this ferocity and anger about life of like, it didn't give you what you wanted. Is that really what you want? Is that really what you want? And if we was to have this conversation one-to-one, I bet no. But the answer would be no. So what is necessary is not to make it epic, but to make it necessary. The necessary thing is to make it necessary. And the necessary thing is not settling for the weaker parts of you that bring you down and make you feel smaller, inferior to other people, because we're all here to do similar things, and that is just to live our lives. Other people choose to live the way they choose to, but I have a choice to live my greatest life I possibly can, to see what potential I can rinse out of it, right? The fun of life, I like to call it. Rinsing that bastard of every ounce of fucking juice I can. And then the point of it is that it's not perfect, right? One of the most necessary aspects to adopt about life is that it's not to be perfect. It's just practice and practice and practice to become such a master at it that it looks effortless to others. But you know in your own right, it's taking you hundreds and even thousands of hours to get to a point where you just are so fucking good at the thing that you've chosen to do that it just sets you aside from the rest. Because the aim is really to be 1% and 10% better every single day. Because that compounds, just like money. Putting it into a savings account or putting it into an investment. The aim, hopeful aim, is that it compounds. And that does happen. That does really happen. So, and that's why people build physiques. Like, people think, oh, you must be born natural with genetics because you've trained for 2 weeks, 2 hard weeks, and you've gotten nowhere, frankly. But when you train for 2 years, or when you've done 200 sessions over a year, you're going to see some compound interest in that bad boy. Trust me, you're going to fucking see some insane results. So, and that's the difference. The fact that you're willing to go through that discomfort and not be perfect, but to practice an action repeatedly, day after day, maybe it's week after week, that you just do what is necessary to become great in what you want to do, right? Not to just to reap the rewards of like become great at earning money, because that's just fucking, it's not meaningful enough in my eyes, right? Again, that's my opinion, but might not be yours. Because the thing is, why be good at something that you aren't even proud of, or you aren't even like, I fucking got here, or you can't even say that, right? Like, of course you can, but can you really sit in it and be grateful for that, and really sit in this fucking hole of just complete gratitude for life and what it has given you, when your only obsession is to make money, to look good for other people, to give yourself a ceiling, pretty much, of what you can experience from the life you've been given, which is a blessing, right? I've stopped chasing people's validation, and of course, it's like being introverted and extroverted. You're not either one or the other. You're on a spectrum. So you may be introverted around a group of 6 people, but around a group of 2 people or 1-to-1, you're just this fucking different character. You show yourself in so many different manners. You're just so loud because you feel comfortable, right? So don't kill yourself by chasing the claps and putting yourself in different situations where you can't show the best versions of you. However, still take risks on trying to push the boundary each and every day, each and every week, to become and fight around this sphere that you've put yourself around, and allow yourself to expand and see what truly beautiful things that can come from you, from living, right? And chasing claps, chasing validation is a one-way trip to keeping yourself this small. And trust me, I've been there. Even though people may disagree with me on like chasing the claps, chasing validation is the way forwards. From my personal experience, I have remained this small, not just in my ability to show up in this world, but just how I feel in myself, which is where I show up in this world. Like, and I've just maintained myself, contained myself in this small sphere of life that I robbed myself. I was the own thief of my own joy because I was comparing myself to others. I was reaching for other people's validation instead of validating my own. Or validating the fact that because you're working out, you're working hard. You're showing appreciation for yourself, which is the way that you create yourself into this fucking beautiful sphere of experience, which is what we're here for. We're here to experience life. We're here to experience other cultures. We're here to experience what traveling really feels like. We're here to experience what the great minds of our history have and can teach us. So this last part is now about me, the architect decision. So in 2024, I wrote, help 1 million men change their lives through health and fitness, right? By prioritizing their health and fitness. And that was in December 2024. So that was 4 months ago. Yeah, 5 months ago. And most recently, over the past 2 months, it's now changed to, in 2025, that then became, help 10 million men in their 20s become the architects of their own lives. And pretty much what I mean by that is be able to feel like you are capable of creating the life that you want to create, which is what we're all here to do, right? By experiencing life, creating our life that we want to, leads to the greatest life that we can possibly live, because we've designed it ourselves. We set the example by following a basic set of rules and foundations, right? So within a matter of 5 months, let alone all the work that I've had to do over the past 6 years to build myself to this point, I say this point right now, the 6 years from then, is and has been a build-up of all the work that I've done prior. But because I've not focused on being perfect straight off the bat, and that being a limiting factor, so me being perfect and taking this mindset may have taken me another 16 years to get to the point where I am now. But because I've allowed myself to be willing and show myself that I'm not here to be perfect, I'm here to practice and preach and build myself through practicing the things that I value, things that I feel like is going to give me the greatest life possible, has got me to here. And to this point where I feel brave enough, I feel courageous, I feel like I am capable enough to go into discomfort, to dive in deeper and challenge myself to help 10 million men over the next 20 years become the architects of their own lives. And also to end their drift years, to end drifting in their defining decade. Because the thing is, tomorrow never comes, so you just have to do it. Tomorrow will never come unless you take that decision to be like, fuck it. Today's the day. And the point here is, I didn't wait for the map. I built it. And I have no clue. I'm trying to create something for myself that I want to help other people, men in particular, create for themselves, is a life that they want to create, and do it in a way that harnesses the teachings that I've had along the way from the greatest people and my internet dads that I had growing up. I didn't grow up with a dad, so I adopted internet dads through YouTube to guide me and give me sanity when I fucking needed it the greatest, going through that tormenting time that I spoke about before. And it's led me to here. So I want to be able to package that up and teach that to as many men as I possibly fucking can, to help them change their lives and truly see actual genuine results in themselves. But again, they set the barrier. I set my barrier for success. That is one of the greatest principles that I want to teach, is when you set your own life, set your own expectations, set your own success, is the moment when you relieve yourself and begin to relieve yourself of that pressure of society, because society does demand a lot from us and you, and it's not fair. But when you set your own self up for success is when you start to feel like the man that you want to become and the man that you don't feel like you are right now. Trust me. Boom. So, you're not weak, you're just unbuilt, motherfucker.